Hi, my name is Grace from Grace Does Glitter. Today I'm starting a series on my channel of celebrity-inspired makeup looks. For the first installment, I'm doing makeup inspired by Jennifer Connelly. Admittedly, I'm not super familiar with her movies, and shallowly, I just think she's beautiful and I'd love to try to recreate her makeup. So I made a little Pinterest board for inspiration and took some notes. I noticed she has high contrast features, namely pale skin, contrasted with dark hair and light eyes. She has natural freckles, but whoever does her red carpet looks doesn't tend to emphasize them. As for makeup looks, she always has a subtle but clear definition around the lash line. It's not a smoky eye, though. She sometimes wears a lived-in bold lip that's never too perfect, and she doesn't seem to love blush, but often has some sort of neutral blush or bronzer on the cheeks. Finally, she seems very minimal with adornments like jewelry, and I don't even think she has her ears pierced. Let's get into my interpretation of her look. First step is to achieve a non-dewy satin base. I'm using just a concealer for this because her base makeup is undetectable and seemingly unperfected. I'm dotting this LYS Brightening concealer on areas where I'd like coverage, and then I'm just blending it out with a brush. I would suggest getting a concealer that matches your skin tone perfectly so that there's no harsh lines or areas where it's not super blended. Step 2 is to go for a back from the beach glow. Now, not to be a creep, but I follow Jennifer Connelly on Instagram, and she seems to always be going to or coming from the beach or like being on a boat. I rarely ever go to the beach myself, but I can fake it with a cream bronzer and a light touch. My tip is to apply a cream bronzer on the back of your hand before using a medium density powder brush to apply it to the tops of your cheeks, around the hairline, a touch on the bridge of the nose, and then using the rest on your jawline for good measure. This part is optional, but to give my eyes a sort of natural contour like she seems to have, I used some bronzer to draw a line from the edge of my eye to my temple, and then I blended it out. Step 3 is to go for a neutral blush. As I pointed out earlier, she never seems to go for any blush that's too pink, too red, or too orange. I decided after weighing my personal options that she would go for a more luxury exclusive blush like the Phytosurgence Skin Spark in Evaporate. The description for this blush is a neutral smoky peach, like roasted brown sugar milk tea. I think Jason, who's the founder of Phytosurgence, has the most vivid, appealing product descriptions, and I really wanted to share that with you because I appreciate the good writing. Step 4 is to add a soft definition to the eyes by emphasizing the lash line. I'm using this matte neutrals palette from Eleman Beauty. I think this is a great option. I mixed together 2 of the eyeshadows, and it's going to be about 2 shades deeper than my skin tone. If you're recreating this and you don't have a palette like that, I'd suggest trying your powder bronzer or a contour as an eyeshadow. That works just as well. And then you'll need 2 small eyeliner brushes, one to apply a deep brown or black shade really close to the lash line and another to blend it out. Then you're going to want to repeat this until you achieve a soft smoky liner. I'm trying not to build it up so much that it looks like there's a solid line around the eye. It'll be enough to notice a difference, but not enough that it could be characterized as quote-unquote heavy eyeliner. Think about it like soft artist charcoals. Resist the urge to turn the liner into a wing or a cat eye. Just as a note, it's just to emphasize your natural eye shape. It's not to try to cheat a different eye shape at all. Based on some of the inspiration photos that I was looking at, I decided to add a cream-colored highlight to the inner half of my eye, or something that's a shade or 2 lighter than your skin tone. Step 5 is to use a lengthening mascara. I think Jennifer Connelly likes to emphasize her natural lashes. I decided to do a bit more mascara than I usually do on a daily basis. I think if you were less gifted in the eyelash department, you might opt for individual lashes. I noticed just a lot of emphasis on like the inner corners that I don't typically do. Step 6 is a fluffy brow. I'm just going to groom my brows to make sure there's no foundation stuck in them, and then I'll use a clear brow gel to keep them in place. Jennifer Connelly has always kept her eyebrows very full, even throughout the 80s, the 90s, and the early aughts, and it seems like she's still wearing them that way. So finally, step 7 was to try out a bunch of lip options. Although she often goes for a natural lip color, natural lip colors can really vary in the undertones, and I started first with the L'Oreal Le Beige lipstick inspired by that picture from the 90s that I just held up. I lined my lips lightly before applying the color, and then I smushed it into my lips with my finger just to make sure it looked really blended. I then proceeded to take off this lip color. I also tried out a red blotted lip, but I didn't end up putting that into the final cut of this video. The lip color I ultimately wore was inspired by a more recent photo of her in which she was wearing a glossy peachy nude. Finally, I tapped this Westman Atelier highlighter on the tops of my cheekbones because it was new to me and I really wanted to use it. And also, I didn't think this was like totally out of her wheelhouse. This is such a beautiful highlighter. It gives like a very natural glow to the skin. No real shimmers that are detectable. Then I guess I just, decided to put a little bit of extra powder in the T-zone area to make sure it wasn't too shiny. Again, she goes for a very natural glow that's not dewy. It's like a non-dewy glow. So you can, avoid the highlighter if you're going for a more true look. And that's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of this celebrity-inspired makeup tutorial. If you'd like to see more, who you might want to see. I do think this is something I'm going to continue to do. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a great day. Bye.